today's video, I'm gonna tell you 20 things that I think Turkish people and Turkey do weirdly. So I'm Danish, I'm from Europe and Denmark does a lot of the same things the same way. And then at the same time, Denmark do things that are a little bit different. So these things are from my perspective, what I think is weird. And please remember, I've lived in Turkey for 7 years now. I love the people, I love the country, but that doesn't mean that I'm not allowed to tell you when things are weird. So this video is part 2 of Turkey, you weird. The first point is about fish and yogurt. In Turkey, they do not eat these two things together. Something about getting poisoned or a stomach ache, I'm not really sure why not, but you will never see it. You will never see people serve you fish and yogurt together. I know that I've eaten that before in Denmark and around Europe, and I've never died, gotten poisoned or had a stomach ache, but in Turkey that's not an option, that don't happen. If you take a bus from one big city to another in Turkey, you will see that there is a stewardess or a steward on the bus serving drinks like tea and coffee, cola and some crackers if you want. You can also get a newspaper from this steward, and I actually like this point a lot because long bus rides are pretty boring and having a steward serving you tea makes it more fun. If you want to find somewhere in Turkey, it would be pretty normal to ask directions from a local. But let's say I make up a restaurant now and I'm gonna call it Gül Restaurant. And I would ask a local for directions to Gül Restaurant. Then instead of saying, sorry, I don't know that one, which would be normal, I just made up the restaurant. Instead they will probably say, go straight, then right, then to the left, and the restaurant will be right there. The point being that Turkish people will give you directions no matter what. Even if they don't know the place that you want to go to, they rather give you the wrong directions to a fake place or a real place than they want to say, sorry, I don't know. And I find that pretty frustrating because when you're asking for direction, you would want to find that place. You wouldn't just want to go around like a game all day trying to find that place. So I believe they do this because they want to be super sweet and try and help. It's just not really a help, is it? A kahvehane in Turkey is a restaurant that you would see full of men. And it's not because women are not allowed, women just don't go. Because this is a place where you can play backgammon or the Turkish game okay, and get tea served all day long. And somehow this has become the place that men go to be together. So again, women are welcome, they just never go. And for me it's a little bit weird to see this restaurant that is only men. Of course, the kahvehane is not the only place you can go out in Turkey. There are plenty of restaurants and cafés, and in some of these cafés it will be very normal to go smoke a hookah and then play backgammon with your friends. And I love doing that myself. I think that is great. Just compared to Denmark and I think most of Europe, this is not something you would see, that you would go out with your friends to smoke and play a board game. The next point is a point that drives me crazy. It actually makes me straight up angry. Because I'm an electrician's daughter and I know how to fix a lot of things myself. The handyman work is not foreign to me. But here, you can literally call an electrician or a plumber who don't know what they're doing. Or if they know what they're doing, they wouldn't care about the rest of your house. On top of that, I've been waiting 4 months for my woodworker to come finish his work. He keeps not picking up the phone, making agreements with us at 9 o'clock in the evening. I will come tomorrow morning at 9, where we have to tell him, no, sorry, that doesn't fit our calendar, that you're coming in 12 hours. So for 4 months, we've been fighting on getting him to come, to pick up the phone and make a real agreement with us on a real date where we have the time. I also had a friend, just to give you another example, who was gonna get an electric cord from the balcony, from the outside into the house to get internet. And it had to go through the frame of the balcony door. But instead of opening the balcony door and then actually making the hole, the worker just made the hole with the balcony door closed, resulting in the window and the balcony door breaking. Luckily, my friend filmed all of this to say, hey, you're breaking this, because right as they confronted him, he said, no, I didn't do this. This was already broken when I came. Again, luckily, she had a video to prove it, but right now they're in a big fight with him because they paid him to do the job, but he actually broke something that is 5 times more expensive than the work he did. And again, I'm pretty sure if they wanted their balcony door broken, they probably wouldn't have called a professional to fix it. They can break it on their own. So handyman work, in general, from what I have seen, is a very sloppy work compared to what I'm used to in Denmark. It drives me crazy that they don't come on time and that the work that they do is so poor quality that most of the time you could have done it yourself better, but they still want salary for it. I know this one might not be fair, and it definitely doesn't go for everywhere in Turkey, and it definitely doesn't go for all handymen. I have just been extremely unlucky a lot of times, even though I have a Turkish boyfriend who controls everything while speaking Turkish. On top of some people doing a sloppy job, Turkish people also come late. And I think that a lot of countries in the world has this tendency that plus minus 10 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe an hour is alright to be late. But I tell you, that is not going in the Danish culture. In Danish culture, 3 o'clock is 3 o'clock, and if you're 5 minutes late, you text people, hey, sorry, I'm 5 minutes late. In Turkey, they'll shop whenever they want, and it breaks an entire day for me if I'm waiting for someone who has to come and fix or do something for me, and they don't show up on time. Because normally, I have more than one thing I have to fix during the day. There is a war on alcohol, and it's pretty confusing to understand. There's a lot of levels on it, but the basic of it is that the government would like to limit where you can buy alcohol, and they have already deleted all types of advertisements of it. So in a bar you wouldn't see these like nice old-fashioned Guinness or Tuborg kind of signs. And you would not see there be writing any alcohols outside of the shops. That is very confusing because Turkish people still do drink a lot of alcohol and they always find a way and a place to buy it. But the government is finding their way to make a war on alcohol while the public just finds a way around that war. And the next point goes pretty directly with the point before about the war on alcohol, because Turkish people, the people I am around, some Turkish people, I'm not saying everybody, but they do drink alcohol. And the young people that I have been to party with in Alanya, where there's a lot of university students, they party like Denmark. So I would say Denmark is a pretty cool party country. It's very normal to go out in the weekend, to dance, to sit in a bar, to be with your friends around a beer. And that's the same thing I'm seeing here in Turkey. There is bars with live music, people are drinking shots, they're having a beer, they're singing out loud, or they make a picnic on the beach, breaking some beers and putting up a fire, and then having a party, just like you would see in Denmark. And when I moved to Turkey, I didn't think I would see this because they are a Muslim country, and I didn't think that partying and alcohol would be this normal. But I got surprised. It's very normal and I like it. I'm very happy that they party like the Danes do. A point that is then not so happy is trash. They are very bad at throwing trash. They throw a lot of trash in the mountains. It's like it's okay to just throw a plastic bottle out of the window while driving in the very beautiful nature of Turkey. And even though there is a lot of trash bins almost everywhere, they still somehow miss them, and it drives me crazy. Even worse is on the beaches, because Alanya, where we live, has very, very beautiful beaches. And I'm not saying it's all Turkish people, there's probably also a lot of tourists throwing trash. Just generally, I think that throwing the trash is a problem. But let me say something, because it's not like there's trash everywhere, not at all actually. You wouldn't generally see this, because the Metropolitan of Alanya does such a big job cleaning. I don't know how many street cleaners they have hired, but they must have a lot, because every day I see someone sweeping the streets. While there is also the trash cars driving around, we both have some big ones and we have some small ones. I'm just thinking that if people stop throwing trash, we wouldn't have to have so many people who had to walk around cleaning up after us, and these people could instead have a job where they plant more flowers, which would be a lot more fun, wouldn't it? The call to prayer. I love it. I think it's pretty great. But I'm mentioning in this point because in Denmark and most of Europe, you would never hear the call to prayer. So the mosques call to prayer 5 times a day, and you can almost hear it everywhere in the city, because you will almost always be close to a mosque. I will also say that when you've been here long time, you somehow stop hearing it. So I know there's 5 prayers a day, and I will say on a general day I might hear 1 call to prayer. Where the 4 others are, or where I am while they call to prayer, I'm not really sure, but at some point you also stop hearing the call to prayer, because it becomes so normal. So Turkey is a cheap country both to live in and also to travel in, and that is very great. But there are still some things about the prices that confuses me. So I can go to the supermarket and I can buy a protein bar for 7 lira. But I can also go around the corner from where I live to a restaurant and then get a soup, a main dish and a salad for 15 lira. So a protein bar for 7 lira or a lunch for 15 lira, somehow those 2 prices don't fit for me. While the men has the cafés restaurants, the women has a concept of a gold party. And I will not say too much about this because I actually don't know much about this. But as I know it, you agree with a group of women to do these gold parties together, and then every time you meet, it's changing who will get the gold. So I will buy a gold coin and I will give it to my friend. And then next time it's my trip, and then her and all the others will give me gold. I'm not sure if this gold party is just a way to socialize, because technically you could just pass on the same gold every time. There is also the point that gold changes prices, especially in Turkey, and sometimes gold is very expensive while other times it's a little bit cheaper. And you could be lucky to get the gold when it's most expensive and then go down and exchange it for cash, and then you have earned more than you have actually used when you bought gold for your friend. So I'm hoping to learn and understand the gold parties a lot more in the future, but I still wanted to mention them because they're weird for me. We live in Alanya, which is a very touristic city, and I don't think this only goes for Alanya or Turkey. I think this might happen all over the world. But I can go on a morning walk and see the waiters starting their day at a restaurant, and then I can go for a walk again in the evening and the same waiter is still there. I don't think necessarily I could call it that they're choosing it, but they are working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, for 6 months of the year. And I would say that is pretty hard, because you might have a family, you might have some friends you want to see, but that is not possible for 6 months. But then what about the other 6 months? Yeah, that's where I've talked to a lot of people, and then when the touristic season finishes and there's no more tourists and restaurant or shop or wherever they work closes down, then they do nothing for 6 months. And that's very weird for me, that 6 months of the year you are working like every waking hour of the day, and then 6 months of the year you do absolutely nothing. If you visit a Turk's house or a gas station, then you will most likely find that there's 2 different kinds of toilets. There is the squat toilet and there is the western toilet. And in a house or in a gas station, it's worth looking behind more than one door, because I never seen a gas station that only had the squat toilet. They just normally have the western toilet little further away. And the same goes for houses, Turkish houses. You will not find these two toilets in the same room, but they are most likely always both of them in the house. So you just have to find it. And also I just want to mention that if you want to know more things about weird things in Turkish homes, I've already made a video about that, and I will link that one in the description so you can see it. The next point is cute and it's loving, and it's also a bit confusing for me. It goes about the retirement homes. So in most of the Northern European countries like Denmark, Norway and Sweden, I would say it's pretty normal to put your grandpa and grandma to a retirement home. And we do this out of love. We're saying you're no longer capable to take care of yourself in the house, so I want to find a way to protect you. So we're putting them in a retirement home where there's full-time nurses, full-time service, they're getting meals 3 times a day, and if something happens, there's someone near to them. For us, that is safety, because we can't really be around them. Most people have a full-time job and it takes a lot of time. Turkey is completely different though. Putting your elderly on a retirement home is very disrespectful and seen down upon. So you will take care of your old people, or you would hire someone who takes care of your grandpa and grandma in their home. Very different point. I think this goes for a lot of cultures, that either you do one or you do the other one. But in Turkey, it's generally not something you do. I have seen a lot of Turkey. We have already made a very big amount of videos about traveling in Turkey, and we'll do more in the future, of course. And I live here, so I want to see as much as possible. For me, it makes more sense to see the country that I live in than spending time going to a lot of other countries, even though I have traveled in a lot of other countries too. But I also meet a lot of Turkish people who've never really been anywhere. And this is definitely not all of them, but I'm comparing to Denmark. I will say if I meet 10 Danish people, 9.5 of them would have seen all parts of Denmark. If I have 10 Turkish people, I would say that it's pretty 50-50 if they have even been out of their own region. Some people don't see it worth to travel around, or maybe don't have the money. I'm not really sure. I'm just surprised to meet so many people who don't want to see all the beauty that their own country has. That is very confusing to me, because Turkey has amazing nature and so many different kind of nature. They have Cappadocia with the volcanic stones. They have Pamukkale, this white cotton castle. They have Istanbul, where there's so much history, and they have big, great, beautiful mountains. They have ski resorts, and they have beaches like the Cleopatra beach, which is one of the best beaches in the world. And still, people don't really care about traveling around that much. Don't understand it. If you're Turkish, if you're watching the video and you've traveled a lot, please tell me where you've been. And if you're a Turkish person who haven't traveled, then tell me why not. I know that Turkish people are the people in the world who drinks most tea. They can drink tea from they wake up till they go to bed. There is always hot tea ready. And I don't really drink tea, so that's confusing to me as well. And I think it's weird. But I know Turkish people love it. I have seen them giving it to babies, and it's such a big part of their culture. I'm super fine with it. Go for it. Drink as much tea as you want. I'm just surprised. How can you drink it all day long? Turkish breakfast is one of the best in the world. I am a personal judge of that, and I'll say it is great. But there's a weird thing in the breakfast, because there's French fries in the breakfast. French fries is not breakfast food. It's like lunch food or dinner food. It's like a snack, but it's definitely not breakfast food. Still, you will see French fries at almost every Turkish breakfast, and I got used to it. French fries do taste good also in the morning. The last point is a point that I hate because I don't think it is fair, and I'm all about fair. And again, it comes from me being in a touristic city like Alanya, where you will very clearly see, when you've been here long enough, that there's one price for the tourist and there's a different price for the Turkish people. And I've been here 7 years, and even though I can speak Turkish alright, they will still give me the tourist price. And it hurts me personally because I'm thinking, what makes you think that I have more money than my Turkish boyfriend has? Or why do you think it's okay that I have to pay more because I'm not born here? Like, I pay the same amount of tax as you do, I probably live around the corner from where you do. So just give everybody the same price, because in Denmark, everybody has the same price. We also have price marks on everything, so that you can never be cheated. You can see the price of everything before you buy it. But in Turkey there's 2 prices, and I hate asking for the price because I know it's most likely higher than if Safa asked. This was my list of 20 weird things that Turkey and Turkish people do, and I hope you liked the list. Please let me know in the comment section. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Did I sound stupid, or was I actually correct?